Nothing to do with that. Ladies and gentlemen, Celebrity Life Activities presenting for you. My name Andres. Everybody hands up. And let's go. And now, like that. And now, like that, like that, like that, like that. You don't know how to do it. But anyway, we have a expert here, Mr. Doctor, speaking about life on other planets. This is part of Beyond the Podium, and this is part of your Celebrity Life activities that you're gonna have to enjoy on board. You have to because it's amazing, not because you have to. So for today, one more time, Dr. Gary.
Thank you, everybody. I'm really honored to be here. I'm really honored to see all of you here because it's me on one hand versus lunch on the other. So either you had an early lunch or like me, you've already eaten too much. We're going to talk about life on other planets today. And I like the topic, the overall topic of these lecture series because it says Beyond the Podium. And I hate standing behind the podium. So I'm glad we're beyond the podium. All right, who am I? I covered some of this yesterday. I'm not going to go through all of these points now. I will refer to the very first one again. I'm retired and I'm loving it. And I'm going to jump down to the very last one in this self-introduction today, which is dogs. Any idea why I'm saying dogs? Well, some of you know because we've been speaking to them. Yeah, we spoke to you, didn't we? Yeah, it's okay. My wife's business is a dog hotel. We board dogs. It's cage-free. We have in the house anywhere from 5 to, well, a very limit, 25, although our license is up to 30. So since we've been in this business for about 4 years now, my wife and I have amassed, between the two of us, 80 years experience of handling a dog. If you have any questions about dogs, please come and find me or my wife. We'll be wandering around and we'll be happy to help you with any behavioral problems. Anyway, enough about dogs. We now need to move to life on other planets. All right, let's take a poll. Who thinks there's life out there somewhere in the universe? My word, that's a lot of you. Hands down, thank you very much. Is there anybody that doesn't think there's anything out of there? I have one man there. And is there anybody that didn't actually make their opinion known, apart from my wife? There is. Well, good for you. Good for you. You know, you don't have to. Well, you know, when we finish this presentation, you'll be none the wiser. Let's hope that if there is anything out there, it doesn't look like this. Otherwise, we're in trouble. The Miller experiment in 1952, this was really very inventive. This is Dr. Miller here. Basically what he did was try to put together a primordial atmosphere of Earth at that time. And as you can see, the atmosphere of Earth there is methane, ammonia, water, and hydrogen. It's very different from today's atmosphere where we have lots of oxygen. Talking of our atmosphere is a story in itself. If you go back far enough, you'll find no oxygen. But anyway, so what he did was mixing the atmosphere in this chamber. He then sparked it with electricity, which simulates lightning in the atmosphere. And then because there was lots of water around, he's looking at the content in water, and what was found there was the building blocks of life, amino acids, fatty acids and urea. So the theory is that the early oceans of Earth were some kind of primordial soup, and what we have going on in the warm oceans is a chemical evolution. You have reactions taking place, the stable chemicals carry on, they get more complex, and so on and so on. The Viking lander's been there in 1976. We landed on it. We've been landing on Mars periodically, off and on. Sometimes we miss it. You remember the famous case where they mixed up miles and kilometers and there was a nice big crash. Well, I'll teach you not to use SI units. So the Viking lander's there, and I'll point out that little dot of light there, that's the sun. So as you can see, the sun's pretty weak on Mars compared to the Earth. This is Martian landscape here. Well, unfortunately, despite the fact we've been on Mars and we've tested it, we haven't found any evidence of life on Mars. Interestingly, Mars has been to us. There are a number of Martian meteorites that have hit the Earth, presumably by collisions of other bodies onto the Martian surface, knocking ejecta up into space. It's been going through space, and eventually the Earth's gravity captures it and it lands on Earth. Will we ever wake up to see this? Okay, pop quiz time. What film did this come from? Independence Day. Wrong. You did try. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Come on, this was a great film. Again? No. All right, District 9. You didn't see District 9? Oh, it was a great film. Loved it. But anyway, I'm a science fiction nut. So for that to occur, based on our understanding of transportation, certain things have to happen. We'll go through these. Okay, this actually comes out of another talk I'm giving, The Science of Star Trek, but nonetheless it illustrates the point. Design is very important with a spaceship, especially if we're trying to use rocket propulsion. Now, the Enterprise doesn't. It uses a much more advanced form of energy. Unfortunately, it needs 81 times its entire mass in hydrogen fuel for its engines to work. So, do you see the fuel tank there anywhere? Maybe it's this thing down here. I'm not sure. Anyway, come to the science of Star Trek. That's a fun talk. It's going to be a day. All right, figure out how to resolve his paradox. Well, first of all, that's the obvious one. We are alone. We're unique. We're the only part of the entire universe with 10 to the 21 planets in it to have attained self-awareness. That's one answer. And the next answer is civilizations are very common, but nobody has bothered to actually go colonize the galaxy. And you'll see why as we go on. Here's some of the answers. Interstellar travel is very hard. I've shown you some of that already. Most civilizations don't want to leave home. You all do, you're on this ship. I hope this one's not true. Those of us that lived through the Cuban Missile Crisis might identify with it. Most civilizations have destroyed themselves. They've become so advanced that their warfare is so effective they've wiped themselves out. Maybe there is a galactic civilization and they don't want to meet us. Maybe life is periodically destroyed by naturally occurring events. Now, we've had lots of evidence of that on the Earth. There have been several mass extinctions, and the one I'm sure you're most familiar with is the dinosaurs. They're already here. There's one. Look at the person sitting next to you. Do they look completely normal? Can you see a seam down here? Okay, a bit tongue-in-cheek. And then finally there is the great filter. That is the last cap. This has now been extended in 2010 by Claudio Marconi. He came up with a statistical version of the Drake equation, which then gives us probabilistic values and gives us more reliable results, if you like. So with this probability curve, we have about 4,600 extraterrestrial civilizations. We have a range here, obviously 0 with back at the unique solution at far at the lowest point, up to about 16,000 using the most optimistic values in the probability. This is the number to remember. They could be, if they were evenly spaced, 28,000 light years apart. 75% of them are anywhere from 1,300, a little over 1,300 to 4,000 light years apart. This is very significant. I want to end up with the wow signal. And why it's called the wow signal, you'll see wow. It's just wow. So, this came in 1977. It lasted 72 seconds. It came in on the hydrogen line, which is exactly where you would expect communications to be. And it's a massive pulse. just enormous. And it's called the wow signal because whoever received it wrote, wow, I can't believe I'm hearing this. They didn't have long to study it. They believe it came from Sagittarius. There's a couple of places it could be on this chart. It's not exactly exact, but that's where they think it is. So the closest star to it is Tau Sagittarii. Unfortunately, it's never been repeated. It remains a complete mystery. There's no explanation for what that is, natural or unnatural. It was discovered on something like this, and there's the wow signal again. Another mystery in astronomy, which is now full of mysteries today, actually. Will we ever see this? Oh, your guess is as good as mine.